A hearty shalom to you, Jeffrey Seif here. We're taking a look at the book. We're taking a look at Persia in the book, or Iran in the book, depending on what name you want to go with. What I want to do in this brief segment is to take a passage in Scripture that speaks directly to, for, and about Persia, but in modern conversation has been oft employed to our President Donald Trump. Now, for me, I'm not as cavalier, I'm not as game to open up a text and say, this text is talking about that person, to pin this biblical tale on that personality's donkey. I'm just less inclined, not that I think our president is a donkey, but if you just go with the analogy, I'm less inclined to do that. But you may well recognize when you look with me in the book of Isaiah, the 44th chapter, there the prophet, in verse 28, he refers to Cyrus, saying to Cyrus, "He is my shepherd, and he shall fulfill all my purposes," while saying to Jerusalem, "You will be built, and to the temple, your foundation will be laid." Now there's Bat Kol, the voice of prophecy, speaking to Cyrus the Persian, to Jerusalem, to the temple. In modern discourse, what individuals have done is we've looked at this powerful president, Donald Trump, and made the correlation based on the fact that there's a political personality not known to be particularly religious, though as of late he's associating with non-denominational Christianity as opposed to a more nominal Presbyterian origin, but more of a secular personality, to be sure, not a religious one, who seems to be using his influence for good purposes as relates to Israel. Some have said, well, look, he's like Cyrus, who, as you might recall from the first segment, or if you didn't see that, as you would recall from the text here, the word of the Lord is that Cyrus is in effect God's shepherd to fulfill his purposes. Now, the context of that text is that Cyrus was the one who decreed that the Hebrews can leave Iran, interestingly, Persia and antiquity, and go rebuild the Jerusalem temple. I mention this in conjunction with the modern discourse about our president, but I want that to fade into the background. And I want you to, with me, simply observe that the biblical text points to a secular person whose influence holds sway over Iran. And the word to that person is, he's in effect my shepherd. That is, the Lord is going to accomplish his purposes through him. It's rather interesting. People present to churches, "Oh Lord, here I am, send me," and we kind of want God to work through us. People go to Bible colleges and seminary to prepare, "Oh Lord, please send me." This person isn't showing up in a Bible college or a seminary or a church. We're looking at an empire, we're looking at a political entity, and God has him tapped for his own purposes. All this to say, and I don't want to overstate the point, and personally I'd like to be restrained in the points that I make about biblical literature, believing that Bible people lose credibility at the end of the day by making overstatements that they really can't prove. And not only can they not prove those statements, but at the end of the day, they tend to be disproved by circumstance over time. What I want to do is look at a text and make a claim about it. And the claim that I want to make simply is this, that when it comes to God's purposes relative to Israel and Jerusalem, according to this text, Iran is somewhere in that mix yesterday. And I believe with me, you'll see that Iran is in the mix today. Speaking of today, you're going to see my lovely wife in a minute, and we go to Israel all the time. I'd like you to go with us, but to that in a moment.
Want to see how the gospel is advancing in Israel? Come on a 10-day charity trip with Sar Shalom Israel. While we see many of the biblical sites, we are there to care and share as we visit the sick, the injured, mothers of newborn babies, the elderly, and Holocaust survivors. You'll meet IDF soldiers as well as others living in the land of promise. Come with us to serve on a Hesed, a loving kindness trip. Contact Barry for more information.
Off to the market we go. Now, Iranian culture. I'd mentioned in a previous segment that 250,000 Iranians made their way to Israel and are citizens there now. And they bring fashion with them. Iranian culture was known for embroideries, for special patterns and silks and the like. And I know people love to go to the market there and touch these fabrics and purchase, yes?
Yes, I recently watched a documentary on modern day Iran. And I was amazed when I saw the pictures of the marketplaces because they look just like what we encounter in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. They call them the shuk in Israel, with all the beautiful colors, patterns, embroidery, beading, the bargaining. It's a lot of fun and colorful, the spices. It's really a bevy of everything that you could enjoy, culinary or fashion.
It might sound odd to some, and you're not disingenuous when you speak. You percolate with a kind of joy to talk about the experience there. Most people think it's a death sentence over there. Everyone's crawling around, fearful and intimidated. But it's true, you go to the market, it's bursting with life. Jews say l'chaim, to life, and color, and the senses from all the spices from all over the world. It's something, yes.
Yes, whether it's, soaps, oils, perfumes, not rowdy behavior, but playful joy. Israelis, it's full of life. And as Ezekiel says in 5:5, that Jerusalem's the center of the world. You can really tell it when you go to Israel and Jerusalem.
In so many ways, you're the center of my world.
Thank you, honey.
Isn't she beautiful? Hey, join us in Israel, if you will. It will be the experience of a lifetime.